Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday afternoon, September 11th. We are looking at Window Traders market profile of ES and NQ. Well, we talk about what's been played before affects what happens next, and traders will do what's worked till it doesn't work anymore. Well, I guess yesterday was just a dress rehearsal for today's all-star performance. Because yesterday they did the same thing, right? We didn't gap high today, and Q did. But, so 2 days in a row, we open higher, press lower, try to go trend down, only to have a V-shaped recovery and go with a price probe yesterday. Today, even more dramatic. These are large sets of single prints down here today. Now I'm in bigger increments. But beat period singles were rather large. See, weren't that large. But same as yesterday. Look at this. We made the low of the day, one time framed up. But today, we put in 5 sets of single prints, of which 4 held. NQ held 3. We exploded out of balance in NQ. It took ES a lot longer to take out that Friday high, but when they finally did, they also exploded to the upside. Volume, 65 million, so a little over average. I mean, think about it. We were down almost $9, then we went back up $9, and then went another $6. So even though the range is $15.40, it's our second largest of the year. We missed the largest of the year from August 1st by 4 cents. So the ranges, again, are fantastic. The volume, though, with those ranges still are not. We also have an outside day up in ES and in NQ. We took out yesterday's low. We took out yesterday's high and closed above it. Earlier today, NQ got close to the balance high in A, and then rolled over. But we never got near the balance low. And Q didn't get near the balance high, but look at the balance low. We got within 2 points of it. You talk about balance rules. If you don't think balance rules are important, and if you don't think price vacuums are real, it's time to look for another line of work. We said yesterday there was nothing inside of yesterday's range. Now, again, it doesn't look that nice like this because I'm in these long, big increments because I wanted to show you the whole profile. But if I went back to 1 tick increments, remember yesterday there was nothing. We had the days high and low, right? I said it won't be hard if we get inside of yesterday's value to trade to the bottom of yesterday's range. Well, we opened at the upper end in A, and what did we do? A, B, C took back the whole day. And Q had the price spike yesterday in A. I said they need to stay above it. They were trying to stay above it earlier in A, unlike ES, which really just blew down. But when they finally did blow down, what happened? There was nothing to hold them. It's a price vacuum. Boom, down they went. Then what happened? Well, in ES's case, it absolutely got cut off by the balance low. NQ didn't even get near the balance low. But once the sellers were cut off, what happened? I didn't expect this. Believe me, I didn't expect this. However, if it could go down through a day where there's a price vacuum, why can't it go right back up through it? And it did. It took back the trend day down and ripped right back up through it. And then when they finally got above the IB high, they took off. Big things have little beginnings. This first set of single prints in ES is 1 tick. Not a point, a tick. Now, again, these are my toughest days when they start doing that. I had a good day today, but I didn't do anything after H period. And that's on me. I did get hurt in E period. I blew up another account, unfortunately, another funded one in E period. In NQ, I did not expect them to take the whole thing back, although here I am telling you, well, if there's a price vacuum down, you could have a price vacuum up. We were down 1.5% at one point today. All the indices were down. Now, obviously, they all finished up pretty good. So, somebody asked, well, what does this mean for, the way this price action was? Well, to me, it means we finally got out of a 3-day balance with incredible energy once we got over the IB highs. Now, the other thing I tell my room all the time is these are the most fragile, fickle traders I've ever seen in my life. So what does that mean? It means that nothing would surprise me going forward. This isn't long-term money. Before there were algorithms, pennies, no commissions, high frequency, a million day traders, you played against longer-term players. When I was a specialist on the floor, 90% of the time you played against long-term sticky money. So if the market went down in A, B, and C, like the way it did this morning, the odds of what it just did today and what it did yesterday are slim and none, because long-term money wouldn't let the market go back up. They're not going to finish selling it in 3 time frames. Fast forward 30 years now, and it's the total opposite. You're 95% dealing with short-term traders, algos, high frequency, retail traders, and only 5 to 10% at best long-term money. This enables the moves. Plain and simple. That enables the moves. So, righty did not end with an outside day up. It looks like they just missed it. What righty finally did, though, late in the day in K, was take out yesterday's high, and at least they're back to balance. So righty is in balance. You want to call it a 3-day balance, or if you want to use Friday and say it's a 4-day balance, again, that's all subjective. I would probably say a 4-day balance and want them to take back Friday's trend day like we did in ES and NQ. Okay? I'm not going over all the destinations. I will go over my trades in a minute. But we finish with a double distribution day up and a nice price probe. Our value was overlapping to lower until the last time frame, which brought it up to unchanged in ES. We started with higher value, went overlapping to lower, and then back to unchanged. NQ opened with a gap with higher value, went overlapping to lower, back to unchanged. So both of ES and NQ finished with a price probe, a trend double distribution day up. However, just like I said yesterday, now there's a lot to lean on, but there's a lot to lean on above A's high. So the bulls going forward certainly want to hold that. Why? Because if we open below A's high tomorrow, what do we have? Again, price vacuum. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. So the bulls now want to certainly open above A's high and hold some of these singles to get continuation. The monthly and weeklies are balanced. We have inside weeks right now, 3 days into the week. So now we're going to have to see if the daily continues, and do we attempt to come out of the weekly to the upside at some point. Now, as far as my trades, I took a long in A period in NQ the first time down when it get against the price spike, and it bounced off it very nicely, which turned out to be a very nice long. However, when ES started getting acceptance back below that, I started the ebb and flow short. And it worked very well. In B period, again, I took a 5 lot to get A's low. You could see the tempo and everything just towards the downside. I said I'm sizing up on those trades. So it was a 5 lot to take out A's low. I missed the overnight low, but I got A's low, so I was fine with that. C period, again, another 5 lot to bury the IB low. And then I was doing ebb and flow trades. because everything was in favor of the bears at that point. On our checklist sheet, everything was in favor of the bears. Now, value was still overlapping to higher in NQ, but everything else, you had overnight low, you had IB low, you had indices, one-time framing down, single prints, the opening, you name it, it was in favor of the bears. So B and C was a field day on any push-up to sell it. Then in E period, I took a short. I actually shorted ES also in A period. Actually, I take that back. It was only ES. I only longed NQ against the price spike in A. ES, because it was pushing down so hard, I was taking a short. I took a short on the ebb and flow there. Then in E period, I took a short both against this, even though we stopped one time framing up, I shorted against the single prints initially and half back in NQ. And it worked. But where I blew an account is when they filled the single prints, I'm like, hey, are they really going to do what they did yesterday? I didn't think they would. So I shorted the one lot at 32, and it started ripping. I shorted, anyway, the account got blown, which doesn't make me happy. Now, again, I've blown 2 funded accounts the last 2 days. I'm not happy with that. But those plays that I take for the overnight, the one-time framing, and the IBs, initial balances, I always trade my real money first. And if I'm not happy with what I did in it, I'll stick with that. But I nailed it really good, so that's why I went over to the other, some of the other accounts that I have. If that was my own money in E period, I would not have I would have held it. I would have been in pain, without a doubt. But I actually kept in my head where I was short. And if obviously you have a set loss on these accounts. But if that was my own money, yeah, I might have been out $4,000 or $5,000. And I think I would have held it. Because I had a really good A, B, and C. And D. It came in, I would have made about, not a lot, maybe 60 points. So it's not a great risk reward. I might have been out $4,000 or $5,000, but I would have made about $1,200. But that's life. So that was E period. Then in F, I took a long to pop A's high. I'm like, they're going to go get both sides of the IB. And they did. We got both IBs. We got both overnights in ES and NQ again. And I also took a long in G period to get the overnight high in NQ. So I did participate a little bit when it started going. I bought F to get A's high, G to get the overnight high, and I actually bought ES to get the IB high also in H. Now, NQ broke out of balance much earlier than ES. ES took a while. ES didn't break out of balance until K period. So, and then it finally did. This is one of my toughest scenarios. Like I said, it was grinding for a while. No doubt they still had good tempo. ES did not stop one time framing up once they started from D period on. NQ stopped once in L, but barely. So we have a huge trend day today. You're right into single prints from September 3rd on the upside. Look at all these destinations, right? There's no vacuum up here. Look at all this. Look at all this stuff we have. So it should be interesting going forward. The daily is up. We'll see if they get a follow through. Generally, after a day like today, the market will consolidate a bit. So if we do open inside of today's range, the most positive response is to open above, for me, L's high. That's the base of the price probe, okay? But the second most positive would be to open somewhere above these, inside of these singles. You don't want to open below A's high. I can tell you that much. That you don't want. And if you do open here, you want to get the overnight high sooner rather than later to put that under your belt, even though we keep getting both overnights like it's nothing recently. And then on pullbacks, look for longs and use value high and or A's high as you're out. And then on the chart, I know this is a long video, but I think it's good too. I hope it helps everybody to see what transpires here. We dig deep into the profile. Look, I'm big with MGI. Okay? I'm very big with the MGI. The MGI was firmly in favor of the Bears this morning. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to sit there. I mean, I did blow an account, but I certainly knew at some point I wasn't going to keep shorting it. And I didn't. Okay? After that, that was the last short I took. And then I took some longs. So the ranges, again, make us we have to give these players enough room to expand. I gave a little analogy in my room. Picture a 2-year-old on a sugar high. If you put him in a 10 by 10 play fence, at least he's confined in there and he's not getting much of a range. And you could look, right? But now picture the ranges we've had. Now put that 2-year-old in a 100 by 100 play fence. He's going to run all over the place. And that's what the market does. That's what the market does. And you got to give it a chance to breathe. So in E period, once again, just like yesterday when I lost an H, I think it was, same thing happened today in G. And guess what? Because it's our second largest range of the year and NQ's range is very large, you're going to have to give them room to roam. So here's the monthly. We had a very nice candle last month. This month started kind of yucky, but nice little recovery today is making it look better. 3-month balance. Here's the weekly in ES. Balance, right? Including this week, it's a 5-week balance. Okay? And the daily, and it's an inside week so far. And the daily is now up. Okay? Now, and it's an outside day up. Now I'm looking at the volume. It's almost 75 million. Now compared to what we've had, that's like incredible. But when you have this kind of move, both to the downside and back to the upside, this is where you want minimum 125, 130 million on a tape. So yes, the volume is above average by like 12 million so far, but it's still not anywhere near you want to see it with the kind of ranges we are having. I hope the way I broke it all down and explained really helps you. We really, I care about everybody in my trading room. I take a deep interest in how they do and try to keep them out of trouble during days like today. Okay? It's not about my trading. It's about reading the market and trying to explain to them what's happening or what's not happening. Not going to always get it right. Nobody is. Okay? Nobody is. Unless you're on Twitter, of course. But I think it's a great place to be. Come check us out. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing to this channel. Rest up, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.